congratulations on winning the Glens Vodka League 2 Manager of the Season. How much of an honour is it to win the trophy?
Great. Obviously, selfish these rewards really, and I'd like to think I'm no selfish. So just thank everybody really for the support. I think when you get these individual awards, it's always nice to receive them, but at the same time, I think it's humbling to appreciate everybody that's helped along the way. So, and the players have been magnificent. They made it really easy for me and Jordy and Big Ryan, all the staff behind the scenes. I could go through them all, you guys. So I suppose when trophy day and then these nice awards come at the end of the season, it's kind of for everybody.
How would you sum up your first year of management?
Whirlwind. Loved every minute of it. The support we've had has been brilliant. The players have been terrific. And it's probably been everything that we could ask you. Totally different for where I'd come from. Big pitches, big facilities, and then training on half a pitch and having a community club underneath that and trying to help join some of the dots to try and, in my opinion, make the club one, which is really important. And it brings different challenges with that, but we ain't just concentrated on the first team. We've tried to help as much as we can. We've tried to be open with everybody. With, Tigers and Stephs at the 20s. We've obviously gave debuts. We've had people on the bench, etc. So whirlwind, but loved every minute of it.
How much has Jordy helped you over the course of the season?
He's been a diamond. Everybody knows that we're bestie buds, family as well. And we go back a long time, but he's been top drawer. Proper soundboard for me, somebody to challenge me all the time. Someone that reads off the same page as me and our beliefs and how we work. And I trust him with my life. I think the boys love him to bits. The training sessions that he's put on for the lads have been second to none. I've played right at the top level and worked with some top coaches, but he's everything that I need in an assistant and more. I love him to bits, and I'm not embarrassed to say it. He's a top boy, and he's been my kind of rock right through. Because listen, it ain't smooth being a manager. Some of the problems that come along your way and you need to deal with. So he's always been my first protocol when it comes to advice and dealing with different situations. And I think we've together we've managed that quite well.
You brought in some big personalities last summer like Joe Cardo, Jimmy Bardonis, Jordan Forster. How easy has it been to manage the type of players?
It's been a challenge, I suppose. He missed time away out there. He'll not be happy when he sees this back. Now listen, the lads have been terrific. I think Tids, and I've mentioned him a few times, to inherit a captain like Tids has been a blessing in disguise for us. He's the standards that he's got as an individual, the player he is. I thought he was top drawer every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, plus of the week, the Friday night games, the midweek games, whichever day it fell. But I think when we look back, that he has been instrumental in what we've tried to achieve, driving standards all the time. And at times when your voice becomes a bit monotonous and a bit boring to the lads, he's the one to pick it up. So to manage the boys, some of the ones you've mentioned, but that's not taken away for anyone else. Callums, etc. They are a challenge. They test you. But I have to say, I've loved every minute of being their boss, and I told them that the players make people's profiles, managers, coaches. It was the same at Rangers. Parents talking about you, kids talking about you, enjoying what you do, and these boys, this whole squad, have helped build our profile. So we're ever going to be grateful to obviously to every one of them really, because they've been fantastic.
The loanees you brought into the club as well have been crucial this season, the likes of Conor Barron, Max Kucheriavi, Kieran Gwenya. How important is it to you to develop these young players when they come to the club?
We just thought we'd try and find the players with the most complicated names to test you and Sean's vocabulary. No, listen, they've been brilliant. And listen, we'd like to sell that as a club really, and as a management team, and the platform that we can give young players. And you mentioned him, Danny Finlayson as well. Harrison Clark's probably the only one that, through no fault of his or ours, just because he obviously was injured for a long period of time, that was maybe deemed as not quite as successful. Conor Barron, the platform we gave him, and listen, the wee man, terrific. He was everything I like in a player. Tenacious, aggressive, handle the ball, and a right good kid, which I think is important. Kieran, exactly the same. 18-year-old boy, he played pretty much every minute, every game since he come. And then you get wee Max, who I've met some infectious characters throughout my career, but he's a special young man for what he's going through, and that was a fitting tribute for him to score the winning goal against Emmetsmuir, which I think for anyone associated with Kelty Hearts will live long in the memory. He's a diamond, wee boy, and he's really talented. So we'd like to sell that as Kelty Hearts, that the young players that we have gave a platform to Albeit it's a two-way street, they have to approach it in the right manner, these young players, but I'd like to think we can be a good platform for them moving forward, and it's a market that we're going to need to be really clever and cute next season with, because I think it's proved this year how successful it was for us.
What are your aims and aspirations for going into next season?
We want to try and be competitive. I've said it before, and I think it's my job as a manager to try and rein people in. We need to walk before we can run. I think it's the first time for quite a few years where Celtic won't be the big fish. It's a really competitive league, 2 or 3 full-time teams in there as well, and a lot of traditional clubs that have been there, seen and done it for a long period of time and know what it takes to either stay in the league or squeeze into playoffs, like teams like Montrose and that. So we got a wee bit of exposure to Montrose, East Fife last year, because obviously we played one in the Scottish Cup, another one in Premier Sports. So we're not naive to know that it's another jump up, it's another step up, but we'll be ready. We will try and enjoy some downtime. I think when you're a player it's a bit easier than when you're a manager, because your phone never stops. But at the same time we will try and switch off to the best we can and regroup, and we've been speaking to players, we've been speaking to different targets, and ultimately the players that we want to try and sign are players that we think can help the group. So these players do have options, it's just the way it is, so we need to have an element of patience, which is a lot of people are no good at, probably me being the worst, but at the same time we started the Premier Sports Cup I think with 15-16 players last year, and then Tam O'Ware come after, Kieran Gwenya come after, Conor Barron come after, and then we obviously added to that in January as well. So I think we need to be patient, I think has to be the word.
Perfect, Kevin, thank you.
Pleasure.